Ladies and gentlemen, long before profanity-laden rap, long before Richard Pryor became big in North America, these guys were the most dangerous stage act probably in the history of North America. Distant cousin to the Lenny Bruce style, political parody. If you took a combination of Second City, SCTV, Wayne and Schuster, Royal Canadian Air Force, and put in latent profanity that was just sarcastically and hilariously funny with a rock and roll and a country show and like aspects of Trailer Park Boys. This band changed the way Canada looked at dirty humor, and were it not for the Constitution of 1982, they would have probably ended up in jail because there was no protection of free speech for their type of parody music. Now, I must give you a disclaimer. There's going to be use of light profanity in this podcast because the profanity is in their most well-known songs. And today we're going to be talking about the pride of the Maritimes. God bless them. They've both passed away in the last number of years, but will never be forgotten as probably the funniest comedy team in Canadian history, MacLean and MacLean. Now, MacLean and MacLean were a Juno Award-nominated Canadian musical comedy duo. They performed regularly in Canada between 1972 and 1998 and recorded 7 albums. The duo consisted of cerebral brothers Gary McLean, who passed away December 5th, 2001, and Blair McLean, who passed away on October 29th, 2008. The McLeans were originally from Glace Bay, Nova Scotia, but were later based in Winnipeg. Now, MacLean and MacLean were best known for their often scatological humor, which was combined with usually humorous renditions of folk and popular songs. They would redo them, with Blair playing guitar and Gary playing banjo and bongo drums. The duo began performing in 1972, and during their career played the Commodore Ballroom in Vancouver, the 1983 Just for Laughs Festival in Montreal, and the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. In 1974, the pair were asked to leave a tour because of their offensive content on their show. So it would be stream of consciousness. You would have things topical. It could be René Lévesque. It could be David Soul. It could be Pierre Elliott Trudeau, Margaret Trudeau, Star Trek, Star Wars, all kind of different parodies, but mostly country songs that have been rejigged to become extremely over the top. And the most controversial one, I think, for a lot of people was the hockey game between Team Psycho and the Red Menace, where Danny Gallivan and Dick Irvin were doing cocaine in the booth. Has to be heard to be believed. Now, an early mention of the group appears in a spoken introduction to Glace Bay Blues by Donnie McDougall of the Guess Who on their 1972 album Live at the Paramount, in which he explains the song was co-written with MacLean and MacLean, as they had not included the word "and" in the name of the act in the early days. Despite the spoken credit, the original album only credited McDougall as the writer. This was corrected in a recent reissue which lists the composers as MacLean, MacLean, and McDougall. During their career, they recorded 7 albums, including a mixture of live and studio recordings, which would be available, I think, on mostly attic cassettes, but you can probably get on CD. Among their best known and most infamous recordings were I've Seen Pubic Hair, Has to Be Heard to Be Believed, based upon the well-known I've Been Everywhere, and an original song, Dolly Parton's Tits, which made the British music charts after it was used as a theme music for a British TV show called OTT. The first album was a live recording titled Toilet Rock, produced by Skip Prokop of Lighthouse. Burton Cummings of the Guess Who appears on it and produced the studio portions of their second album, Bitter Reality, although his management tried unsuccessfully to have his contribution, singing 2 short, dirty songs, removed, fearing it would be harmful to his career. This challenge caused the album's release to be delayed by several months, by which time the controversy had been widely reported by the media, and the track had been leaked to a Toronto radio station which played it on a weekly show featuring comedy records, making the attempted removal a futile effort. The album was eventually released with Cummings' contributions intact. Jack Richardson, the producer of the Guess Who's albums, produced the live portions of this album. Controversial for the use of strong language, at one point they had to appeal for the right to perform to the Supreme Court of Canada. Their title of their album, Locked Up for Laughs, refers to an incident where they were actually put into jail in Kingston, Ontario, after a charge of public indecency at a live performance. They weren't performing nude, they were just using, toilet humor to bring back the, bring forth the funny. Their theme song was a rendition of Jada, retitled Fuck Ya, and it appeared on all their albums in one form or another. It was often used as a closing to their live shows, following a mutual heckling routine in which the audience and performers jokingly shouted abuse at each other. The song would then be performed as a sing-along with the audience. The back cover of Toilet Rock claims this song, the altered version, was written by Burton Cummings, although later albums credited the McLeans. The cover also claims, "We all wrote Lickin' My Dick," but it's not clear whether all is meant to include Cummings and or Prokop. The song in question is heard as a brief warm-up before the proper start of the performance, with Blair McLean announcing, perhaps as a direction to the editor, that's not going to be on the album. Now, in the 1980s, McLean's created a character called the Champ. This character was licensed to and further developed by radio personality brother Jake Edwards. Edwards performed a daily 2-minute Champ monologue for syndication to radio stations in Canada for 20 years, which was the longest-running feature of this type in Canadian history. A sample of the McLean's version of the Champ can be found in Cruel Cuts, but it was Edwards who gave the character its distinctive, gruff voice. Edwards also released 4 CDs of selected Champ monologues, and a 5th Champ CD described as being a little more risque than a radio program. Now, the duo toured on and off for nearly 3 decades. In later years, they worked in radio. Gary McLean became a radio personality in Winnipeg, while Blair took up a new profession as a landscape painter. The duo performed for the last time not long before Gary McLean died of throat cancer in 2001. Following Gary's death, Blair McLean privately released a CD entitled Live, a recording of a 1996 performance in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, to raise money for a trust fund for his brother's children. Unfortunately, Blair McLean died on 29th of October 2008 at age 65 due to a heart attack. Now, all 3 of Gary's sons work in the music and showbiz under the band name the McLean Brothers, fronted by singer-songwriter Michael Vermillion out of Winnipeg. In early 2010, they played a successful 1-month tour of South Korea. Now, the discography, of course, Toilet Rock, which was live at the Chimney in Toronto, Bitter Reality, a mixture of studio cuts and live at the Chimney in Toronto, Locked Up for Laughs, which was a studio recording, McLean Sucked Our Way to the Top, and McLean Take the Old Country Show, a split album. Side 1 is live at El Macombo, Toronto. Side 2 is a studio recording simulating a country music radio broadcast. Now, Go to Hell, which was a studio recording. The title can also be read as McLean Go to Hell. Cruel Cuts, which is a studio recording. The big one, of course, is the Dirty 30 compilation. 2-in-1, it came out in 92. A reissue of the first and second albums on 1 CD, and omits some tracks to make it fit. And 2-in-1, a reissue of the third and fourth albums on 1 CD, which is 92. And of course, the live album from Watts in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, 1996. Now, Canadian humor, religious humor, everybody that was available to be attacked was attacked, even Wayne Gretzky. Pat, Oral Roberts, all these different things. So, I mean, on one listening, it's basically a group album. You play that with a group of people. Now, I played this at a school party when I was NBC Woodstock in 1984, and I think half the people that heard I had the cassette never talked to me again. So you're a fan, McLean, you're going to have to live through explanation. It's not politically correct. It's not Me Too. It's not Black Lives Matter. It's basically attacking everybody. It attacks rednecks, leftists, liberals, conservatives. Anybody can be attacked. But here, Burton Cummings singing about an amputee, the girlfriend of the singer, has to be heard to be believed. It's not Stand Tall. It's not These Eyes. But for what it is, McLean, the best comedy team in Canadian history. I didn't say the whole group. Wayne and Schuster were okay, but McLean, when they were like so much of an underground sensation, it's similar to when Norm Macdonald first started, God bless his soul, because these guys were out to insult everybody, including each other. Equal opportunity comedy. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's a short story, McLean. Go on the internet if you can find it, which I don't think you can. Most of their songs are not played on the internet because of copyright issues and other issues as well. And considering that every venue you played in the 70s, there was a possibility we're going to be arrested. That's why the Lenny Bruce reference, because I don't know specifically why Lenny Bruce was getting arrested so often, but maybe it has to do with what McLean did. Sometimes you have to stand up for your right to parody something else. Have a good day. Bye.